All right, it's 10:30 LA time. How are you, everyone? I'm here in Los Angeles, and we're going to talk today about Ayurveda. Ayurveda has started in India about 6,000 years ago, and so it is considered the oldest form of healing. It is the science of knowledge and life. And to talk about this, I'm bringing my dear friend, Amita Banerjee. Amita is originally from India. I've met her maybe 10 years ago, or even longer, in New York.
Longer.
I came to do a consultation, Ayurvedic consultation, and then we started doing regular Ayurvedic massages, which she's going to talk about all of that. And I really fell in love with Ayurveda. I actually went into taking a Abhyanga massage Ayurveda course with Amita, and later on I went to India. I took a course there in the south of India, and to talk about, I think it's so relevant talking about Ayurveda, especially at this moment that we are in a health crisis in the world. And what I found it amazing about Ayurveda is that Ayurveda is preventative. So it's a lifestyle, and it's supposed to bring your body back into the balance that we all are born with. I look at my son. He's 5 months old. He's completely perfect in his we are born perfect, correct, Amita?
Yeah.
And so, and then because of our lifestyles, the form we eat, and or exercise, she's going to talk about all of that. We go out of balance, and so Ayurveda brings that back and teaches us how to live a healthy life, so we don't have to treat the symptoms. Like a Western medicine, it's about treating the symptoms and not preventing from it, right? So here it is. Hello, Amita.
Namaste. Hello.
Namaste.
Good morning and good afternoon from wherever everyone is joining. And I thank all of you immensely for making time on this beautiful long weekend to celebrate health and wellness. Thank you very much, Vivian, for taking this torch ahead and bringing this beautiful platform together for healing people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Amita is talking to us from New York City. So later on, she's going to give all her information. She does consultation in New York. So if you guys are interested, if you're in New York City and you're interested in doing a consultation with Amita or trying Ayurvedic massage, so she's going to give all the information later on that you can get in touch with her. Also, her Instagram is there. I posted. You guys can follow her. So Amita, I was reading some of, I've known you for a long time, but I was just reading some of the things. For instance, I didn't know you work in the corporate world before. And I wanted to start with two questions. First, what is it that brought you into the wellness world when you were working in the corporate world? And then after that, you can just go into explaining to us about Ayurveda.
All right. So a little about myself. I've been practicing Ayurveda for about 26 years now, and doesn't seem that long because, the science, is so spiritual. It's so wonderful. And the healing practice is so gratifying that every day, every moment, I seem to be learning and learning more and more. So Ayurveda, the Vedic sciences, whether it's yoga, whether it's Ayurveda, is all about sharing experiences. That's how the science is. I started off in the corporate world. I realized that I'm a big misfit over there because there was a calling inside me which wanted to keep on telling me that I am not connecting with people and nature. I'm disconnecting myself. So because the thought that inspired me towards the Vedic science was that nobody in this world has come to be unhappy and unhealthy. Everyone in this world has come to experience health and happiness and peace and joy and optimize their energy. So I this enabled me to discover further, and that's when I connected with Ayurveda and yoga. And I said, wow, this is awesome, and I need to share this with everyone. So I shifted from my corporate world to going deeper into Ayurveda, studying, practicing, interning, and then, of course, uh, uh, exchanging this information and knowledge with everyone. Um, I practice out of New York for all these years. But of course, the past 1.5 years, everything has been virtual because of COVID. We all know that, it has become a point where we have suffered a lot, but we have also realized that the saying that health is wealth was never really taken that seriously. Everybody used to hear about it, say, "Oh, health is wealth," but we realized in this 1.5 years that truly our biggest wealth is health. If we are healthy, if we are fit, then we can fight everything. If we are not, then we can succumb to even the smallest thing, even a tiny virus, even a small bacteria. Anything can really make us into nothingness, make us go into nothingness. So therefore, people started to reach out to me virtually on, thank God for technology. So Zoom and everything connected me, in fact, globally to people. And people were very, very much keen to connect with their health, with their body, with their mind, with their consciousness, and in a natural way. So that's where the Vedic science of Ayurveda and yoga comes in. And I feel very humbled.
Wonderful. Amita, so tell us, like, let's say you never heard about Ayurveda before, because we take for granted, like, yogis and the people in wellness, like, know a lot about Ayurveda. But let's say people that are tuning in right now, they've never heard about Ayurveda. Could you, like,
Sure.
in a simple way, explain what Ayurveda is about and how it connects to people in a very individual way? It's not like in Western medicine that you take a pill and that pill, okay, I have a headache, let's take Tylenol, and that goes for everybody. That's not the case in Ayurveda because it's very individualized. So would you explain all of that a little bit, please?
Absolutely. The word Ayurveda and yoga, they both are, from the Vedic principle of nutrition. And the word Ayurveda is a Sanskrit word, just the way yoga is. And the word Ayur means life and Veda means knowledge. So it explains in the word itself that it's actually about knowledge of having a lifestyle and diet which enables you to be healthy in this one truth. The Vedic science says there's only one truth, that is that you have come into this world and you have to go from this world. This coming and going is really inevitable. Nothing can change that. What can change is that journey in between that coming and the going. So even though people might not have heard the word Ayurveda or yoga, but all of us actually know the science because it is our daily experience. It is our daily experience of being in balance and being imbalanced. It is a daily experience of sharing our mind and consciousness with nature. So this is what the science 6,000 years ago was documented, and it's all from the Vedas. Atharva Veda is where the Ayurveda, the science of Ayurveda, comes from. And everything, whether it is hospitality, skin, hair, massage, diet, nutrition, exercise, yoga, everything is combined in that. What is so beautiful about this science is that there is a big stress on prevention and maintenance. There is a huge cure component. The science, of course, gives us all the possibilities of medicines, herbs, supplements, everything. But what it focuses on is actually prevention and maintenance. The science says that if we are able to keep this vehicle, which is this body and mind, in a perfect condition, then this entire journey between the coming and the going becomes a beautiful experience. The suffering is there because we are diseased. When there is no disease, there is no suffering. So Ayurveda simplifies it, says that nature is composed of five elements. And those five elements are space, air, fire, water, and earth. These are the five elements that nature is composed of: space, air, fire, water, and earth. And the human cell is also composed of the same five elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. So the Vedic science says that we are not different from a plant. We are just an extension of nature. We are just like a plant. So just the way every plant is unique, every fragrance is unique, every color is unique, all flowers, all vegetables, all fruits, every tree, every leaf is unique, every human being is also unique. So you see, the expression is done when we give a fingerprint. All of us look so alike, you know. We have two eyes, the nose, the lips, the hair. Our body looks the same. If you look at our hands, we'll say, oh, wow, it looks just the same. But when we give that imprint of our finger, you see we are identified separately. So imagine if just that imprint of that finger is different, how much the imprint of our complete body, mind, and consciousness is different. So there are no generalized rules. Life, for our wellness, for our health, for our existence, for our optimization of our energy, and for enhancing life, we need to customize everything. What we are eating, while we are exercising, how we are sleeping, how much we are meditating, everything needs to get customized for us. And that happens when we get to know our unique constitution. Since we are all unique, we also have a unique constitution.
Is
Now,
that Prakriti?
that is Prakriti. Prakriti in Sanskrit has two meanings. One is your constitution, and the other is nature. The reason why it has the same meaning is because nature is also composed of the same five elements. So we need to identify and understand our constitution. And once we do that, then it becomes very, very simple to balance your life, because the principle of balance is opposites will balance you, like will imbalance you. And we all have heard this, right? That opposites attract. We see that, you know, if you're having fever, then we always try to give you cold. Or if you've had a heat stroke, we try to cool you down. If you have become very cold, then we try to warm you up. So the opposites, if you're dry, then we try to hydrate you. There is no possibility that, you know, you burnt yourself in fire and we wrap you in a hot blanket. We have to immediately.
Your sound. Okay, good.
Is that good? Can you hear?
Yeah, back. Yes.
So the moment we get into this principle of understanding that this is what is dominant in me, in the cell, which element is dominant, then automatically you will be able to balance yourself very easily. Because nutrition in the Vedic science is just not about food. It's about the four pillars, that is ahara, asana, prana, nidra, which means ahara means food. Asana means the exercise that you're doing to conserve energy.
Like in
Prana,
yoga, you call asana poses.
yes, poses. And uh, prana is your vital life force. And nidra is sleep and meditation. Because if you're not sleeping well, if you're not meditating, then automatically mind will go into a state of imbalance. And the Vedic science said 6,000 years ago that most of our imbalances and ailments are psychosomatic. What does that mean? It means that if your mind is not in a good place, if you're stressed, if you're fatigued, if you are depressed, if you're sad, if you're anxious, anxiety, jealous, possessive, angry, insecure, fearful, all of these aspects of your mind will start to contribute to imbalances in the physical body. And immediately it will manifest as then imbalance and disease.
In
So
the
the Vedic
physical form.
yeah, it says very clearly that you need to keep the mind in a very, very good place. Um,
Um, can you talk a little bit about like Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and how we, and how we are born with a certain constitution, but also the Vata, Pitta, Kapha can be when you are in balance and all of that, and how that.
sure. So, a constitution does not change because that is your thermometer for creating balance in your life and in your health. So, when the sperm and the ova meets and the consciousness sets in, your constitution sets in. So, that is permanent. What is impermanent is our imbalances. So, every time there is an imbalance, you know your constitution, you bring yourself back to the balance again by creating opposites of whatever imbalance that you're going through. So the element of the space, air, fire, water, and earth, we need to understand the elements very beautifully. That is the basis, the foundation of the Vedic science. And space as an element is what? It is like a residence. It's like as if like a room where you will be allowing the air and the earth and the fire and the water to reside. So it's like a room, like, if you have a room and if you have four people in it, everything gets very comfortable. But if you have a room and there are 50 people in it, everything gets cluttered. So when we say that, you need to give me some space, or, we say that, can you just create some space between ourselves? Or, we say that, can we clear the space? There's too much of clutter. If we clear the space, then the energy will flow better. We say all these things, but what does it really mean in our body and mind and consciousness? It means that we are not allowing the air, the water, and the earth and the fire element really to blossom and to generate energy and good health. So the very important element is space. That's why twice a year, essentially in the Vedic science, we recommend what we call is panchakarma. That is that cleansing of the five elements. Pancha means five, and karma means what you do to clean the five elements so that you can have better health. What is that? That is detoxification. Detoxification and rejuvenation is very, very important. Why do we say a lot of it is being spoken nowadays is fasting? A lot of people talk about it. Oh, I need to go on a fasting. I need to do intermittent fasting. What does it mean? It means that you are allowing your system to go into a state of complete relaxation, a state of rejuvenation, a state of detoxification, so that you can revive the energy or conserve the energy to create health. So the emphasis of space is that you create enough space always for the rest of the elements to live and blossom. The element of air is what gives us velocity and movement. So you see, life expresses by velocity and movement. You see one cell under a microscope and you see what is it doing. It is expanding, it is contracting, it's expanding. So this movement, this is the velocity and the movement which expresses life. Everything, whether it is our eyelids, I'm talking to you right now, my lips are moving, I'm creating space, I'm thrusting the air, so we are getting speech. All our joints are moving. We take food, the food moves and absorbs, assimilates, digests. Everything is about movement and velocity. So if there would be no air, then we would not have any velocity and movement. And next element is what we call is the fire element. What does the fire element do? The fire element gives us transformation. It is the solar energy. It is everything. Like if you have all the elements, but you take away the sun, you will see life will come to a standstill. What is giving us this transformation of decaying and again, like you see a beautiful fruit on a tree and you say, oh, I must go and eat it. It's ready to eat, but you go and see it's not ready to eat. So you wait for 2 days, it becomes ripe and it gets ready to eat. What happens in this time? It transforms into ripening and ready to eat. So this
And in
whole thing of,
I'm sorry, in the physical body, the fire would be our digestion, right?
oh yes, because that's what is transforming, right? We are cooking all the time. Our skin is changing. We are every 28 days we have new skin. Our hair falls, new hair comes. We cut our nails and the new nail comes. We our bone changes, our structure changes. We are getting fat, we are getting thin, we're getting tall, we're getting short. We are digesting, we are absorbing, assimilating, digesting, eliminating. All of that is happening because we are cooking. And for cooking, we need fire. And fire is what is giving us transformation. Our color, our radiance, the warmth of our skin, all of that is coming from the element of fire. The sharpness and the intensity of our eyes is coming from the element of fire. Next comes the element of water. Now, as you know, that nature is also composed of 75% water and 25% earth. Similarly, our body is also composed of 75% water and 25% structure. So you see the similarities between nature and us. There are no barriers. We are just in oneness. We have to just recognize that. So the water element in the body is giving us the circulation, giving us the ability to keep everything fresh and clean. The process of elimination, the process of again transporting the nutrient to each and every cell is happening because of the element of water. The last element that comes is earth. And the earth is what is giving us stability, is giving us structure. If we see our bone structure, if we see our skeleton, it is absolutely loose and dangling. And then we have the musculoskeletal system. We have the largest body organ, which is our skin. We have our beautiful structuring of our nose, our lips, our eyes, our collagen, everything that is expressing itself, the complete muscle of every organ, which is giving us all the protection, is the element of earth. So one, now that we know that the cell, now there are trillions of cells in the body, right? Science has really not been able to conclude as to how many cells we have. They say it can vary anywhere from 30 to 40 trillion to about 100 trillions. But every minute we have more than 1 million cells dying, and more than 1 million cell also being born. So this process of dying and birth is constantly going on inside of us.
Amita, and then for each person, this elements would create different constitutions, right? And that's when it comes Vata Pitta.
Yes, absolutely. That's why the most important thing is to understand this, the cell. You are that one cell which has these elements. Now, whichever element is dominant in your cell, that becomes your constitution. Now, what do we mean by the constitution? Air and space together becomes vata, and fire and water together becomes pitta, and earth and water together becomes kapha. These are the three major constitutions: vata, pitta, and kapha. Vata is air dominant, pitta is fire dominant, and kapha is earth dominant. Now, why is in Vata, sorry, yes, please.
Go ahead.
Why is it that in air space has been given? Because for the existence of air, for the expression of existence of air, we need space. Like, you take a balloon and you have to blow air into it. If there would be no space in it, the air would not have been able to express itself. Air is subtle. Air is subtle, air is cool, air is rough, air is dry. So all these qualities are coming from the element of air. So air and space together has been given so that it expresses the constitution of vata. Why has water been given with fire? For expressing pitta. That's because for cooking we need water. Suppose you put a pot on fire and you put all your vegetables in it and you don't put any water at all. what is going to happen to it? It is completely going to get burnt. So for cooking, for transforming, we need the element of fire. For growth, we need the element of fire and water together. Now, yes, please.
So in a more so for people that don't really have an understanding of those different doshas, what would be like the main characteristics of a vata, pitta, and kapha
Yes,
constitution?
that is what we call is the uh, elements properties, the gunas. So the element of earth has been given with water, again because unless and until there is water with earth, there no structuring is possible. Like you want to construct something and you have earth, if you don't mix water in it, you can't give any shape to it. So the element of earth and water are together. Like you have a seed and you want to sow the seed, you dig the earth, you put the seed in it, and then you put water on it, and then you let the air flow, and automatically with the solar energy, life comes into being. So the reality is that the most important thing for us in our body is the five elements. We have to respect it, we have to love it, we have to balance that, and if that remains good, then our health will always remain good. Now, how do you identify that you're vata, your pitta, or your kapha? Now that you know the elements, you have to see the property of the elements. Now, the characteristic of air is what? Air is cool, air is rough, air is subtle, air is very dry, air can be rough to the extent that it expresses on the skin. So a vata person will be either very tall or very short. The skin will be very, very light. You can actually see the broken capillaries and sometimes the veins and the arteries from the skin. The hair will be very thin in every strand. The Vata person will not be a very large built person because of the air element. The bone is expressed very clearly. So they will be more small built than any other constitution. They are a little restless because the air element does not allow them to become very stable. They constantly want to be in a state of movement, and the emotional quotient of a vata person is fear and insecurity, because air doesn't give them any support. So because they don't have support, they feel insecure and they feel fearful.
And that's
Yes.
if it's unbalanced, correct?
No, even in a state of balance or imbalance, that is what is their mind state. Anything happens, let's suppose there's a storm. The Vata person will say that, oh my God, what's going to happen now? It's not that they're in a state of imbalance. It is the air element which makes them feel insecure. The Kapha person
Worried.
will say, oh, sorry,
Worried.
worried. They're not going to be able to let go of the insecurity. Like if they get lost or if it is dark, the first thought to a vata person will be that, oh my God, what if someone comes now? So it is not something that it comes out of imbalance. It is their natural state of being, because air does not allow them to be in gives them that feeling of support. So, Vata constitution in their imbalances can certainly have issues like dryness of the skin, upper respiratory issues because of dryness. They can have severe allergies. They can have constipation. They can have joint issues because the joints dry up, and then they can have joint issues. They can also have fatigue because there's so much of movement in them that they tend to get a little tired and fatigued. But they are able to multitask because there's so much of energy in them that they can do two or three things or four things, and they can still feel that, oh, I can go on. So that is what the vata person is. In the pitta constitution, you will find that they're medium built, and because of fire, they will always have a glow on their skin. It can be an orangish reddish glow to the skin, and the hair will never be straight. They will have the natural hair. Of course, you can style it the way you want to, but in the natural hair, just the way the fire has a wave, their hair will also have a wave. They're medium built. Their skin is always a little acidic. It's never like porcelain clear, and they will love food. They love color. They are perfectionists. They are always in their mind governed by anger and ego because they like to control things. They in a state of imbalance. They can become very controlling because they come from a place of ego. Everything has to be their way. So that's in a state of imbalance. In a state of balance, they're great leaders. They can motivate you. They can show you the path, and they're extremely good with what they do. They like to complete things, and they love to do things beautifully. They're great orators. They speak very articulately, and in the state of imbalance, they can have a lot of digestive issues because even though they're blessed with fire, so in the real sense they have a good digestion, but they are foodies. They love to eat varieties of food, and they especially love salty and spicy food. So they tend to go into a little bit of an imbalance when so they become acidic, and because of acidity they have issues like maybe hormonal imbalances or GERD, or constant coughing because they have acid refluxes and things like this. Anger sometimes leads them to become emotionally in a very high strung place. So they can be depressed because Pitta wants to be recognized all the time. They want to be praised all the time. And when they are not recognized and when they're not praised, they can go into a state of very severe depression. Kapha constitution are not medium built or small built. They are big built people. They are very muscular. They have awesome, beautiful skin because the earth gives them like porcelain skin, and they have a awesome, beautiful collagen. So actually, the wrinkles come fastest in Vata, then Pitta, but Kapha skin remains youthful for the longest possible time. They have got nice, thick hair. All their features are very beautifully shaped because they have earth. So they have awesome, beautiful lips, nose, big eyes. But the the thing with them, they usually don't have issues with their bones, but they can have issues with their muscle because the earth is expressed as muscle. So they can have severe muscular pain because they are slow and sluggish because of earth. Earth is dense, right? Earth is cold, earth is dense, so therefore they're sluggish. And because they're sluggish, they can have lifestyle disorders like maybe like diabetes or high cholesterol, high blood pressure, all of these issues because they find it very difficult to move. They basically go into a state of where I don't want to do anything. If you tell them to do exercise, they'll say, "Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow." So they'll keep on pushing it away. You need to really
Procrastinate.
motivate. Procrastinating. You have to really motivate the kapha people to go into a state of good metabolism. Otherwise, they have awesome health. If they can keep their metabolism good, and if they're able to constantly be in a good, regular, structured lifestyle, then they're very robust and very healthy and very creative. Because obviously, Mother Earth creates, right? So they're very
Right.
creative. So
Everything.
this is
So,
how you identify the constitutions: the Vata, Pitta, and the Kapha. And of course,
Amita, so for instance, let's say, so with all this, so let's say somebody wants to go into an Ayurveda consultation, and so how do you come in? So let's say the person comes in, you do this evaluation of their constitution, and
correct.
then
And then after that, based on the constitution, we go into the four pillars of nutrition, that is Ahara, Asana, Prana, Nidra. And then all the suggestions and the recommendations are given about what kind of food you should eat, what should be a sleep timing, wake up time, exercise, how you should breathe, what should be your pranayama system, what should be the meditation techniques.
Pranayama meaning breathing exercises, right?
Breathing exercises, yes. There's several of them, and constitutionally you can do that, and meditation also. Everything is then given. Some supplements can be given depending on, whether you have some imbalances which require some herbal help or supplemental help. Then I do that too, and it's simple. You just have to. Send a Zoom link, and then we can be on Zoom. It's not complicated at all. And then, of course, we work together. The Vedic science is not about the symptom. It's not about, that, oh, I have a headache. So, you take a pill. It's not about that. The Vedic science really identifies that where is that imbalance stemming from. You go into the root, the foundation of it, and then you heal it from that point. So once that gets healed, then you see that you've just made it your a way of life. The Vedic system becomes just a way of your life because you are in tune with your own constitution. Initially, people find that, oh, it's a little bit of an adjust, but then it becomes a wonderful habit for them because that is what their constitution is. Suddenly they tell me after 2 months that, oh my god, this is so awesome, now I can't even do without it because this seems so easy for me to adapt to. So
And
that's
so,
how.
sorry, but like, for instance, I see like in the Western world, oh, I want to lose weight. So it's like this quick fix diet, but then it's not really in the long run. Um, you can keep up with it, right? You do this like crazy detox diets, and so what it seems to be in Ayurveda, you learn how to eat for your life, what makes you feel good, correct?
Correct. Because, the Vedic science also clearly tells you that it's not about being overweight or underweight. It is constitutional. Like, a Vata person will always be small built and they will be slimmer. And a Pitta person will be medium built. A Kapha person can never become skin and bones. How much
So it's
ever.
about also respecting your structure, right?
Absolutely. It's all
And
about respecting who you are and recognizing your own constitution. Like a Kapha person, actually, the Kapha people, some of the very, very beautiful people are Kapha. But, the thing is that they can never be skinny. They will always have a feeling of like a little roundedness because that is what earth gives them. So
and
if
that
you
doesn't mean that, and that doesn't mean they're unhealthy, right? Just because
no,
they
that
got a
that
bit
means
of weight.
if you are in tune with your constitution, you are in perfect health. But you should never try to be someone who you're not.
And that's like, it's so important to talk about that, especially as a woman. We see all these ideals of what you should look like, what you should weight, and and so it goes completely against respecting people's individuality.
Correct. Like, people go according to sizes. That, oh, I want to be one size. I want to be zero size. Or, they will starve themselves. They'll not eat any food at all. So ultimately, if you are not absorbing and assimilating and digesting and giving the nutrient to your cell, how much ever you try, you are not going to be in good health. It's very, very important to understand this one concept is that what we eat, what we drink, what we think is all getting absorbed as nutrient in our body. That's why the Vedic science says that it is not important what you eat, it is important what you digest. You might eat the best food, but if you don't digest it, it is of no use.
Right. Like,
So,
for instance, like I can think of like raw diet. A lot of people are into raw diet. I personally try, and for me, it wouldn't digest. Like probably, I just didn't feel right for me. You know.
So the reason why for many people the raw diet doesn't work is because raw food, because Agni, the digestive fire, is cooking, right? We are cooking all the time. The digestive enzymes are there to emulsify the food and then we are digesting it. So raw food is cold and obviously it takes a longer time to digest. And a Vata person is already cold. So therefore, it doesn't have. So if a Pitta person is eating raw foods, they find it easier to digest. Whereas, if the Vata person eats raw food, they will find it difficult to digest because they're already cold. We need to give them the warm foods. Opposites, this principle is just needed to be in your mind all the time, that opposites will balance me and like will imbalance me. So the moment you know that I'm Vata, then you know that I need to be careful about these seasons. Winter, fall, I need to be more careful because those are cold, dry, rough season. What I need to be very careful about cold foods, cold water, and cold environment. So
So
therefore,
what about having cold drinks?
anything, whether it's a drink, whether it is food, you need to be certainly much more aware that how you're drinking it and at what time you're drinking it. Suppose you go to a very hot place. Suppose you're visiting Florida and during the daytime you're Vata, but you drink a cool drink, then there is no problem, right? Because you are in an environment which is very supportive to your inner core. But if you are going to a place which is very cold with tons of ice and snow all around, and then you continue to drink cold water, so it is obviously going to imbalance you.
Right. Amita, how does stress affect our digestion?
See, the thing is that whenever we are stressed, we are not we are releasing so much of stress hormones that we continuously slow down our metabolism. What happens when you're stressed? You completely get shut down, right? But let's not think about food. Just say that you're very stressed and you're wanting to do something. How good are you able to do that? Are you able to perform well? Are you able to optimize your energy? Are you able to really complete that job? No, we are
Or be
not. Because,
present even, right?
yeah, so because stress does not allow us to be in a state of balance. So whenever we are digesting, digestion is starting right from the vision of the food. You see the food and you say, oh, wow, this looks so awesome. I feel like eating it. Or you smell the food and you say, oh, yummy, this is awesome. I can't wait to eat. And then you start to, secrete the enzymes and you are wanting to eat that food. So food digestion starts from there. If you're stressed, if you're not paying attention to food, if you've not even looked at the food, if you're just waiting that, I'm doing something and I'm just gulping in, food is not going to get
Or even
digested.
watching television.
Activity while eating, in any case, does not, because when we are eating, all the blood rushes to our digestive system. But whenever we're doing multitasking, we're doing everything else with our eating, then it gets conflicted and confused and it doesn't know where to go. I mean, should it go to the brain? Should it go to there? Should it go to digestion? And ultimately, it just goes all over the place and your digestion is messed up because
And
you
it seems like in this culture now, we're more and more multitasking as we do things, right? Because we don't
exactly.
really take that time to just
Like the most important meal of the day is your breakfast. And most of the people you will see are not being able to do breakfast because they are on the go, they are rushing, they have no time to eat breakfast. There is no time to fix a lunch. So everything is fast and quick. And then it is hungry and I have no energy. And then you have a large meal in the evening. And that is the time when you should have the smallest meal because you don't have the support of the sun anymore. The sun has set and your digestion has already slowed down. Nature goes, we have to see nature and learn from it. We are like a plant. We are not separate. So we need to look at nature. What is nature doing after sunset? Everything is slowing down. The plants are, the birds are, the whole air is, going into a different energy. The moon is coming up. It's a cool energy. The sun is gone. So therefore, we need to realize that that's what's happening to our inner core also.
Right.
So the
Because of the
evening,
connection between us and nature, right?
absolutely, we
I
need to
think that's
follow
why,
a rhythm.
sorry, I think that's why also like Native Americans, you see, they're so connected to nature and everything that they do.
Exactly. All cultures who are deeply involved, integrated with nature, are always healthy. When people are conscious about how you're growing the food and what you're consuming, what you're eating, like you've overcooked the food, and this is all because of they create a false need. There is a craving going on that I'm craving that food, I'm craving this food. That's because they've created that craving. Food needs to be fresh. Food needs to be colorful. Food needs to have all the six tastes that we have. What are the six tastes? Salt, sweet, pungent, bitter, sour, astringent. These are the six rasas. If we don't experience these six tastes, then we are not going to be healthy. So I think we have um, given a lot of information for today, and we don't want to overwhelm everyone. But if there are any questions, I'll be so happy to deal with that. And
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, you can ask now. Or Amita, how can they find you, Amita? On Instagram, right? And
yeah,
then
they can find me
yeah.
on the Instagram. I have the website, which is holisticayurveda.com. So they can connect with me on that. They can shoot me an email, whichever way they want to. But today we have identified that everybody is unique. Everybody, we and the nature are absolutely same. We are like a plant. We need to be in touch and in tune with nature to be healthy and balanced. We all are having our customized constitution,
And
and
remember
there
that we are nature. We
we
come
are
from it.
nature. We
So we
absolutely,
are united to it. So whatever we do to nature, whatever kind of relationship we have to nature, it's gonna directly affect us, right?
absolutely. And that's why all seasons affect us. Any change in planetary position affect us. Whenever there is a lunar eclipse or a lunar tide or a solar eclipse, we all get affected. If it's a rainy day, it gets affected. If we have sunshine, we get affected. So how is that happening? That's happening because we and nature are not separate. So try to embrace everything natural, everything in nature, understand your own constitution, and follow this very beautiful principle that opposites will balance you and like will imbalance you.
And
And
as you say in your mantra, all in divine order.
all in divine order, that is been my mantra for ages. That is the most beautiful thing, that we surrender. The moment we surrender, everything becomes beautiful. So please know this, that everything is in divine order.
And trust the universe and the wisdom, right, Amita?
Yes, the
Thank
universe
you.
is communicating with us all the time. We just need to keep our antennas beautifully open, and we can listen to the universe talking to us. It was wonderful. Vivian, thank you very much for this awesome opportunity.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.